right. This welcome. This is Dynasty the Podcast Show. I am your host, Ira Thomas Bush the Fourth. This is part 2 of Local Joker. Now, let me tell y'all why I called it Local Joker. Because, yesterday I was a little bit more on the serious side, reviewing like politics and what's going on. I ain't really get too depth, but I was just spitting out some stuff that was going on. Now today is gonna be, more about sports. What's going on. We ain't talk about FIFA World Cup that happened, the NBA trades, and I ain't gonna get too much into the trades. I'm gonna get to the main person that changed teams, and it wasn't really a trade. So, but I'm gonna talk a little bit about, because once I started talking, I started thinking about everything that happened, and we just gonna talk about it in a short. Try to keep it short so y'all remember the takes that I have and remember the predictions that I have. I'm not gonna give it all at once. I'm gonna try my best not, because my predictions and takes are pretty good on NBA, NFL stuff. So you might take some of it. It might help you in your fantasy league. It might help you in all kind of ways. Some of the stuff I predicted, like they coming out this week saying LeBron's gonna play point for Philadelphia, and I feel like that's his real position as a basketball player. That's his best position. Not him being small forward, shooting guard, or power forward is like right underneath it. Like it's like you act, you like when you got to pick a fruit off the tree a day early. That's like him picking position. So he's overall the only position he will have a lack in will be center, because it's his height and size, and he's already a strong, powerful human already. So, but he'll be out of position in that position, but everything else he could play. But yeah, we're gonna talk about that, and how Philly has rose to the top as far as favorites and how he fits in the team. It's gonna be other stuff. We're gonna talk about my way too early predictions as far as the NFL on the teams. Oh, I got a little bone right there. But yeah, way too early predictions. I'm gonna try to pick a division winner, a division winner, and talk about the teams that's gonna compete, because it's really very balanced in the NFL. The NFL don't pay me, so I'm not trying to over promote them, but I do have some favorite people. I got. I'm gonna cheer. I'm a root for the people that I know that's in the league. So I don't mind, speaking on the league now, because the league real. They'll go back to father. They'll turn back the hands of time and start treating. The best thing I can say is the superior athletes is still pretty much in the league. Now what the Lakers have done, what they trying to make an all white roster, I don't know what that is over there. That's the funniest junk I ever seen. With the tradition of the Lakers, and I know I'm cutting off my intro for this, but the tradition that I grew up loving, and why I became a Lakers fan, y'all not resembling nothing that says winner. Nothing that says I'm trying to win a championship. Everything is about the star being a white athlete, his support cast being wearing white athletes. I don't know what they got going on over there, but right now we're gonna put the Lakers on the back burner. That don't change the tradition of what went on with Elgin Baylor, Magic, James Worthy, Byron Scott, Kobe, Shaq, Derek Fisher, LeBron recently. we had, what I'm talking about? Anthony Davis was there. Like, what I'm saying? Like, we got real ball players. Like, I was saying we as a Lakers fan, but I'm gonna put that on the back burner. I'm gonna put my coach hat, GM hat on, and I'm gonna take it as business, because it's a lot of money to be made when it comes to putting money on games, and I ain't heavily involved. I put my $1 to $5 in every now and again. I ain't in no contract buying with nobody. Hey, I can enjoy fantasy that way every now and again. I promise you, they ain't gonna be picking me up for for tax evasion if I do win that day. Yeah, best believe that. But that's just me being funny. But I love I'm a big fan of sports, man. Basketball, football, basketball, however you want to say it. Definitely the WNBA. We're gonna speak on that a little bit. Um, school's about to start. A lot of this stuff that going on with far as me coaching little league or high school prep, it didn't fall through for me how I wanted it to. Hopefully I do get to pass some knowledge and gain to some of these players during the season. I have so much of that. That's what I want to put my time in because I enjoy it. And right now I don't feel, the stuff that I'm speaking on, it might seem like I'm in an unhappy space. But it's not that. It's just not that. Y'all know my circumstances, the children in my family, they're in middle school or high school for the most part. We got I think, and that's I'm talking about as far as me, cause it's like that tier. Like I got nieces and nephews that could be my child. They my child age, and you know what I'm saying, like that realm. What I'm talking about. There's maybe 2 or 3 that's not in middle school, and they very smart and sharp. My nephew, he in 5th grade this year. I got a niece that's over, she not too far from me. She's super smart. So she doing her thing over there on the other side. My child in the 7th grade, that's how I look at it. Everybody on point. Everybody super smart. Everybody, they speak well. They know how to speak up for themselves. This is the basic things of maturing that we teach in our family on my mom's side and my father's side. I'm proud of the stuff that, we are able to do as parents for my cousins and, most of them like my brothers and sisters. I got 2 sisters. Yeah. I talk about them all the time. So that's how I treat my family. The older, like I be thinking like, man, once we get out of them going to high school, everybody gonna be in the clear. We go back to, cause my family, both sides enjoy themselves, enjoy, family time. We have our set of friends. We try to intertwine them and on the best way possible without, stepping on nobody's shoes. I like that type of energy that my family does have, the respect. When it's family time, it's family time. I'm the person that's like, if it's respect with my family, you good with me. And if it's disrespect, you will never see me. You will never hear me say too much from me. I don't appreciate no disrespect. I got enough, when it comes to issues like that. My sister them don't get. It's people that just they want to antagonize somebody that's like, when it's, I won't call it really prestige. It's more self prestige. It's more like a standards that you want to be on. I'm not a perfect human being. You get what I'm saying? But it's still standards out here. You get what I'm saying? It's like, what's your moral compass? That's what you got to kind of wake up and be like, what's that? And when I tell you about the moral of people will put a certain entity, I would say money or leverage. They'll go through great lengths to gain these things, and they don't have nothing left after that. They don't have a real strong following or a real, a secure, like, I can't explain it. So, I know what happened for me. A lot of stuff is like people want to compete with who I am or what I am. You get what I'm saying? But my abilities and standards and what I have energy for, that's on the lower side of it. That's on some, you gotta catch me like really like in some joking mood to even to concern myself with that type of energy, like, or competition energy like that. It's already there. It's already, what I'm saying? You gotta literally get in my realm of expertise, expert And around my peak is a group most of the time. It's like a group type of situation. Me coaching, me doing anything, helping, me working any kind of job or whatever, assignment at the day. It's like there's no isolation in it. So it's like I already checked off as being on point. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna go ahead, go into detail, go about what we was talking about. I want to get off the topic of what it is. It's not no serious day. Before I move on to that, we're gonna speak a little bit on politics, then we're gonna go right into the sports, and we're gonna have a nice day. Cause like I said, this is a local joker. We all that. The fact that I'm only speaking on athletics, that mean I did not get to the pros. That mean I didn't get to, everybody got their own platform. My platform about sports is so lit. I barely talk about it. I would rather have a co-host. I would rather have somebody to go back and forth with. But it's okay if I don't. I'm not tripping. You know what I'm saying? It's still gonna be high level expertise about the games, about what's going on. Um, what I seen so in politics, just glimpsing at it this morning, that because they actually had it on World News today, and they talking about one thing. I'm gonna put this question out there in the atmosphere. How do you start? How do you? Okay, I won't say it's not all because we've been going. We've had a big war in the Middle East several times. Recently, it was the early 2000s when we had got attacked in 9/11. They went to war in the Middle East. Now, they think that starting something like another war with the Middle East in 2026 will be a day or two after we was in one of the longest wars. The only reason why we got out of that war is because we had a president named Barack Obama, whose main objective was to clean everything up, fix these. He had to go these places, this place. They tried to call this man. They tried to say he was picking that side because he had to go meet with these people because we had such a long tenure of going over there bullying them people after 9/11. And a lot of our people went over there, they was not trained enough after they bullied to know that y'all still on the wrong turf. So that's why a lot of people was getting into shit far as dying, getting stranded, going AWOL, whatever y'all want to talk about, whatever y'all don't want to speak on that I could speak on. The stuff that they was trying to get away with was still kid. You know what I'm saying? They gotta realize that's what they was on when they felt like they singled out the people that did that in 9/11, which was clearly it was internal strife, and certain information got leaked, and certain things was going on. They still have issues trading and selling arms deals with the wrong people because they want to make money. And that's what he was trying to, that's what somebody thought that was going to, when you make a wrong deal with the wrong people, he thought just going over there blowing something up and, calling it, saying it like he gonna end the war in a day. That's just not strategic thinking. That's not planning ahead and making sure your country is secure. So I'm just gonna speak on that. I've spoken on these things already. I'm not trying to diss nobody that's has to deal with this every day. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Now we finna have a good time for the rest of this show, and we speak on sports. Now let's go and move. Oh, before I speak on sports, I'm not missing nothing community. I spoke on, just me still being here. Like, hey, I'm here to available for coaching, helping somebody. I want somebody who genuinely wants me to help their program. I don't have time for the he say, she say. My track record of helping athletes ascend to their best ability at the level they at is very high. It's not a joke. I took it as a joke. So that being said, I'm still available. Matter of fact, my email ibush2@hotmail.hccfl.edu. Please don't send me no more fake people coming to me on Indeed saying that they want interested in me working for their companies. I'm 140, 50 shows in for his podcast. If you don't know who I am and you sending me stuff like that, I apologize. I'm not offending you. If you got offended, that means you're part of the problem. Thank you. And again, my email is ibush2 at the @ hawkmail HAWKMAIL HCCFL.edu. That's for you people that need to get in touch with me and don't know how to speak like adults and professional business people, or even people that need to get something off their chest. My email's there. Now let's go ahead right into some fun, cool sports talk. Now, what the real has been, what else? The real has been waiting for. Now, you know what, man? I'm gonna go right into the LeBron going to Philly. What are my thoughts on that? Now, my thoughts on that is, I thought it was a great move. The talent that he has, the starting five lineup, they going 6 or 7 deep. The starting five all-star caliber players. They have young players that can ascend to all-star caliber type players. VJ Edgecombe did a great job in the playoffs, I felt, as a rookie. He did not go backwards. He went forward. He was not afraid of the moments. I wish his jumper, I think what he needs to really improve on. It's not that his release and stuff on his threes is good. It's his footwork. It's his motion on his footwork. I feel like it was a little bit off. He might have been working on it last year throughout the season. It was his rookie season. But just pick go with somebody with like great 3-point shooter with their landing, like Ray Allen. Who else was very good? Reggie Miller. All these guys, they had the same landing. The up and down motion was, it was like crisp. Or some of the great, like you could study like Glenn Rice, Marcus Allen. Is it Mark? Did I say that right? These are guys that could shoot threes. They just like pay attention to how quick, because it's released pretty quick. It's just like his footwork. Just be consistent with your footwork, how wide your base is. Like, just how that, take that pro step into like perfecting your 3 shot, because you're gonna be in a lot of times. I don't think LeBron's coming to like boss nobody around. I don't feel that. Embiid was, I don't know what to tell y'all. Somebody just like to talk crazy on Embiid. If he's 50% of himself, who says that? Why would you want Embiid at 50% of himself? I can't remember who said that clown ass shit. But we want Embiid 100% himself so they could really win the championship. Because I still think Joel Embiid is the #1 center in the league. He's that's barring injury. He is the most offensive. I don't know. Him with a 3-point shot, he's the most dominant offensive center since Shaq. Not saying he's as dominant in the paint as Shaq, but his movement and his ability to get in any part of on the floor, far even in the paint. When he's healthy, it's not hard for him to back nobody down, post nobody up. He has a mid range just as good as Tim Duncan. He has a three. His 3-point percentages above league average. He hits clutch jumpers and threes all the time, just like any superstar can. Then you go right down to him being present in the paint. We know he was moving a little tender and slower than he wanted to as far as defensively, because he couldn't help pick and roll like he was when he was younger. But overall, just protecting the rim, one-on-one circumstances, 2-man pick and roll with bigs, he can handle all that stuff still at a high level, at defensive MVP standards. Like, he's not as good on the perimeter because he was, a little bit slowed down with the chronicle knee issues that he's still playing with, and he's still going to the Hall of Fame with the numbers he has and the standards he's been accomplished already. He's played over 10. What he's going in a year 9 or 10 or something like. You know what I'm saying? He's not. You know, I don't like that. I don't like that. You know, I slept on with LeBron and Joel Embiid on the same team. So we're gonna go there. We got BJ the Young one. He's second year. And they just got Jaylen Brown. Like Jaylen Brown is top five. So most people think Jaylen Brown is a top five player in the league. I know why he's got traded because he don't take no shit from the white owner, and he tap dancing, and he got the right people behind him to still get him his money. They just gonna try to treat him like some kind of, you know, when I could tell, because I couldn't figure out if it was Jason Tatum or him that was like so, you know what I'm saying, they both probably speak up. You know, they both had the rights to speak up, so they kind of had to figure out who they wanted to keep, I guess, in Boston, because both probably was like too much to handle, or you know, they want to still feel like they have control as far as the ownerships, and them two guys being superstar type players, which I'm surprised Boston went the route they did by trading him away. But I guess when it was playoff time, they act like Jason Tatum was still the number one option. But I think Tatum knew that Jaylen Brown had really ascended as a leader, and he kind of fell back, which was kind of it was contradicting what they did when they won the championship together, which is still crazy. They won the championship together, so that was crazy that they split. But they both gonna get their money, man. They gonna probably make close to 700-800 million each, if not a billion, because how LeBron them cracked everybody domes with the money that they making 50, 60 a year. And you just got to pay, what, 10, 12 years? Shit. So, yeah, I think, you know, Philly going, you know, I think besides New York being a favorite, I don't think New York, I love OG. I told y'all for New York, I think he's underrated star for sure. His defensive presence, being able to guard Wemby on the perimeter and holding his ground in the post, because he's still gonna be he's gonna be a monster. He's gonna be dominant when he gets strength, like his grown man. He's still a young teenager, basically. You got to think about it like that. He's not a fully developed man, and he's out there with the biggest and the best. That's Wemby. So, but OG did a great job. He should have won MVP, Finals MVP, in my opinion. He did the most. He did what Karl Anthony Towns could not do, which is control Wemby on the perimeter. This is Karl Anthony Towns. He did a great job winning. But New York still won, so they got the title. They got their little throne right now. But Philly definitely got a better team. I didn't even get into what it was. Jaylen Brown, the starting lineup, how I seen it, would be LeBron. Shooting guard will be VJ. Small forward will be Jaylen Brown. Power forward will be, who else is on? I'm tripping. Jaylen Brown. Oh, Tyrese Maxey will be shooting. So LeBron, point, Tyrese Maxey shooting, VJ at 3, Jaylen Brown at 4, and Joel Embiid at 5. That's one of the most explosive offensive teams you're gonna see, especially if LeBron take the back seat and distribute the ball and take all the layups and single coverages, give them single coverage, attack. If you get the ball out, swing, go to the low post, triangle action on the wings, all that stuff. They should not have a problem averaging 115 to 120 points, just because of their starting lineup. I don't see them having issues. They have to be unselfish. They have to be able, in that ready to shoot position. They cannot be, all of them should be working on their 3-point jumper, every last one of them. So, I think Philly got a very great chance if they don't have no selfish bone in them. They got to take that part out of it. This is not a regular starting 5 lineup. This is one of the these guys all can make the Hall of Fame. That 5 guys and VJ's very young, so He got to pick it up a little bit still. He got to hit his threes. He got to hit his corner threes. He got to hit those open shots. He will be probably the he's still in that, oh my God, LeBron, oh my God, Jalen LeBron, oh my God, Joel Embiid. You know, you see these guys do stupid shit in practice and all. Like, imagine the stuff they see in practice. He could do stuff too. Tyrese Maxey shooting 90.3 pointers probably as practice and stuff. Like, you know what I'm talking like? He's like, I just seen him do that at practice. Like, you feel me? So, yeah, that's like some of the most talented people that you're going to be around that group right there. So, yeah, New York, Philly. On the West, it's still San Antonio and stuff. So San Antonio, the Lakers definitely took a step back. You got OKC still. OKC got a lot of talent. A lot of their talent is not as big. The name's not as big, but they're just as deep. So, OKC could easily make it to the championship this year, bounce back. They got to figure out how to, you know, San Antonio is a young team. They beat them last year, so it's one of those things. Like that's two. Then you got Minnesota. Minnesota is in the same position as OKC with talent and like I said, nobody has Wemby up, but the LaMelo Ball just went to Minnesota, and you still got Ruby over there as a center, and he could give Wemby issues in the paint. He could actually do an okay job if he commits to switching on the pick and rolls. He does a good job defensively. He's not as skilled offensively, so that's a lack. But you got the scoring that they have in Minnesota is just as potent as it is in Philly with the talent they have in Edwards, LaMelo, Jaden McDaniels. And they got Terrence Shannon on the bench or coming off, Bones Highland. These guys are athletic, and I think they signed like the other guy from who they got from Chicago. I can't remember his name. I can't pronounce his name. I'm not gonna butcher his name. They got scoring on Minnesota, guard play that's gonna rival anything everybody else doing. And then you got Kawhi. I think they didn't finalize the trade. They might have did. He's supposed to be going back to Toronto. I like that move. That's a young team. Toronto got the same kind of depth as Philly and Minnesota. So these are the key teams that I'm looking at in New York or whatever. We're going to see what's going on. Now, with that being said, we're going to move on from the NBA, and we're going to talk about my way too early division champions, which are, going AFC, NFC, East, South, North, So going right into it, AFC East, I got the Bills or Patriots. Now, I'm leaning towards the Bills. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of Drake May being. I think they had Drake May. I think they got him 92 overall in Madden. I don't know what Super Bowl they was watching. Nobody played the Super Bowl that bad and should be 92 overall. That was crazy. And I think they had I don't know who they had. Lord. I gotta chill. I think it was Jared Goff was ranked lower. He was 88 overall. He's older, but he's still better than Drake May. Drake May got a nice mid. I can't even say that. He gets the ball, and when he throw the ball 15 yards or under, or 20 yards or under, or underneath 15 or under, he does a pretty good job in mid-range throws and accuracy and getting the ball out of time. Down the field, it's got to be staged. It's NFL. I know the game enough to know how people are staging these, wanting the next Tom Brady, next whoever the heck they want to be, who trying to succeed. I'm still trying to figure out why people don't understand who the number one quarterback still is in the NFL, and it's Lamar Jackson still. Just based off his skill set, talent, it's still Lamar. Lamar should have won 3 MVPs already, under 30 years old. What is going on? For real. So, That's the AFC East. I got the Bills by a little bit because Patriots still run the league. They still run a lot of movement in the league. They got talent on defense still. They got the right staff over there, far as just notoriety, respect. I ain't saying they the most smartest ones, but they got enough over there to get everything done and organized. North, it's a tough division. You got the Ravens, the Bengals, and Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh got Aaron Rodgers. The Bengals got what's his name? I see his face. The quarterback from LSU. I can't remember his name, but Jamar Chase over there. All them guys over there are super talented. They got one of the best wide receiver corps in the Bengals. Ravens have added to their, I'm mad that they didn't, I still mad they didn't have likely. I still got them just in front of the Pittsburgh and the Bengals. Bengals could easily just, if they figure it out on defense, just enough to, be in the top 10. And with their offensive firepower and they quarterback and they just the overall offensive presence, they could easily rival the Ravens. They could, in the North, easily could have 3 teams make the playoffs. It'd be skinning. It's all about staying healthy. Pittsburgh, you got the vet, you got the old Wiley vet over there. They changed head coaches. It's a first time in a long time, so they definitely gonna be still third in my Ravens #1, Bengals, Pittsburgh, and they all can make the playoffs. In the South, you got the Texans and Jacksonville. Jacksonville won 12 games last year. They have a #1 overall quarterback. This is a 6 year, I think. You got the #2 overall, Travis Hunter. Going strictly to more defense. I think he's gonna let him play a little bit of offense. I'll be surprised if he play any offense. I think they committing to him playing defense. He got hurt last year, so they kind of want to make sure that investment pans out because he's very talented and gifted. So, wherever it is, hopefully he stays healthy. The Texans have C.J. Stroud as a quarterback. I like his poise and presence. I think he does a good job when the coaches allow him to really open up that playbook. And they still have this stigma that black quarterbacks are not as smart as white quarterbacks, which is what the problem be when they start play calling. The only problem that I do know that I confirm, being an experienced coach, is that these white, not being funny, I'm not prejudiced. I'm telling you, I work with too many whites, and I really don't think the friends that I created all hate me for talking like this. So the ones that stay down or will be okay with me talking like this, cool. If they're not, I still be cool. I'm still a father. I'm still a father figure to my family. I'm not worried. But what I was trying to say is I've been in coaching staffs that these Caucasian coaches, they learn some stuff and they be like, this guy got prestige. And they be like, yeah, that's a good idea, right? Yeah. They all start, yes, sir, and a coach that ain't that smart, that ain't even on the field. They just drew something up. They ain't never made a play. Like some of these blocking schemes that they switched to was unnecessary. Like when you do zone blocking, and zone blocking is a great scheme. I love zone blocking. I think it's a little bit better than man-on-man because it helps you with play action. So slight better than man-on-man. Man-on-man, you got to have the best and the biggest lineman. And then we really, that's how you dominate. That's where you know you dominate. You ain't no questions asked. We ain't sugarcoating, we ain't hiding nothing. That's a lot of power football. Like I said, the Ravens, who else got it? I think, Patriots pretty strong up front. Green Bay did a great job of accumulating great offensive linemen. Lions, too. The Rams, they a little bit finesse, but they got some powerful linemen over there on both sides. 49ers the same. They built the same. Seahawks, Philly, the teams that are for the name. So let's get to it. You got stars up front, starts with your own trenches. But let me continue. Yeah, the Texans, Jacksonville. I think they both will probably make the playoffs. I don't know how. Then in the West, you got the Broncos and the Chargers. Those are my two teams. If I coin flipped it based off the coaches that they have, I'm gonna go with the Broncos. They had a big turnaround. There was a play away from getting to the Super Bowl, or make it to. I think it was to the Super Bowl to the next round. But coach is one of the best coaches. Him and Drew Brees did some great things. They won a Super Bowl together. And then you got the young Justin Herbert, which I'm not that high on, and I don't think he's mentally able to handle the pressure. And
Hi, pardon me, sir. The next reservation is here.
okay,
Thank you.
but yeah, today that's gonna cut it short. My time up in the studio area is over. I started late. I didn't mind it, but we're gonna get to it. WNBA. They didn't get to talk about hip hop or WNBA, but I apologize. We will continue this. It's not gonna be part 3. We're just gonna get to it. But yeah, thanks for listening. This is Dynasty the podcast show. I am your host, Ira Thomas, which the fourth. Everything I do is off the dome. I do not sit here and play about my podcast. So I just look at it like this. I don't. If you want to know what news and being a journalist or anything like that, it's not about really like getting accolades for it. It's really about just giving you an opinion, putting real facts and information out there. So that's what we try to do. So thank y'all again for those who tuned in. Shout out to my family. Shout out to my child, Anaya Bush, my nieces and nephews, my mom, my grandmother, my grandfather. Y'all know what it is. See y'all later. We're going to try to get one in tomorrow. So y'all stay tuned.